listening to TalkTainmentRadio.com.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
This is All in Our Family, and I'm Miss Yolanda Robinson, and this is radio the way it should be heard. Listening audience, you know what? This year we're going to be electing. It's a very important election. We're going to be electing a president. We got judges that are being elected, and so it's very important that we have the accurate information on how we can vote, particularly with all the confusion that's going on. We have COVID and the information that we're hearing about the post office. So I decided that we would bring in some of the experts to give us some tips on what we're going to do about voting this year. So in the studio I have Lisa Freeman Williamson and Aaron Sellers, who is the manager of communications with the Board of Elections. It will be calling on the line. But Lisa's in the studio now. So Lisa, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well.
Now Lisa, I saw you and you're registering people to vote, you live right next door, not too far from where I live. I said, oh my goodness. But Lisa, how long have you been doing that?
I founded the organization WTF Weigh the Facts in 2012.
In 2012, so you've been doing it for quite a while then.
Yes, ma'am.
And so, and Weigh the Facts, what you do is register people to vote and voter education?
So what we do is voter service, all the way from education to mobilization. We register people to vote. We have the absent voter request forms available if that's what you want to do. We have voter forums coming up. Our voter forum series actually starts this Thursday, where WTF has partnered with 100 Black Women of Central Ohio. So we're going to be doing the county administrative offices this Thursday from 6 to 8.
Oh, that is so wonderful. So, how old do you have to be to register to vote?
If you will be 18 by the general election, you are eligible to register to vote. And the general election is November 3rd of 2020.
November 3rd of 2020. Okay. And so if you just moved to Columbus or moved to a city, you can register?
You can register you can participate in the election as long as you've been in Ohio 30 days prior to the election. So just before the election cutoff date, which is October 5th.
Okay, so what if you just moved? Can you still vote?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So you need to go to WTF so you can cast an educated and empowered ballot and get the information that you need.
So you go to WTF and ask for educated and empowerment. Oh my goodness! Did you get that, listening audience? An educated and an empowerment ballot. So if you just moved in a city, is that all over the country, or is just in Franklin County?
That is in the state of Ohio. I can't speak to other jurisdictions right now.
Okay, for the state of Ohio, you can ask for an educated and empowerment ballot. I kind of like that. Oh my goodness. So, can you? What about if you if you live in another country? Say if you're in a service and you live in Japan, can you still vote for in this election?
Military families definitely have been participating in the election for decades. So yes, you're eligible to vote.
Okay. So they can register. How do they register?
They could register through their Secretary of State, that office.
Okay.
But the UOCAVA vote, again, that program has been around for decades. So they're really strong about getting military families involved in having their voices heard.
Well, and college students, you just left and went to college. Those that are on campuses now, how do they, if they want to vote, how can they do that to register?
So you can register from your primary residence, which be that your parents' home or your own home if you had that before you moved, and that is where your vote would then be counted. Or if you register in the locality that you would be voting on those issues and candidates.
So are you saying that they have a choice? They could, say, if you were a student at Ohio State and you moved from Cleveland, You have a choice of if your vote will count in Cleveland or Franklin County?
If you are planning to return to your Cleveland residence, and that's considered your primary residence, and that's where you should do your voting from.
Yes, okay. But can you do it in the dorm, or
you can absolutely do an absent voter request form and get an absentee ballot, and that will come if you. In our example, we're talking about Cleveland, so that would come from Cuyahoga County.
Oh, I see. Now, what about if you are in just moved? Say you just moved from one side of town to the other side of town. You said it's 30 days?
Yes, ma'am. So you would need to go ahead and change your registration, because what happens is they want you to be voting on the issues that are pertinent to you. So be that a school levy, be that a tax levy, be that a liquor license. They want to make sure that your vote is being counted in the area that you live, because those are the issues that are impact you.
Oh, wow. Now, how do you, I mean, I just moved. If you just moved, I didn't just move, but if you just, are they going to have the same polls? I got so many questions. Are they going to have the same polls that they did before? Say, I know in my neighborhood, we vote over at the school. Is that going to happen this year, or do we have to do a mail-in ballot or go to the Board of Elections?
You don't have to do that. The Secretary of State is currently recruiting precinct election officials or poll workers, and that's 35,000 of them that they need. So what is going to happen is that wherever you're registered, and that's your polling location. So you can go on Franklin County Board of Elections website to their voter information and put in your address, and it'll tell you which precinct and location you should vote at.
Oh, okay. So the precincts and will be open then.
The polling locations will be open.
Oh,
I want to just put in a plug though that we have had people fight with blood, sweat, and tears to get our right to vote, but we don't want to endanger our health to do that thing.
Yeah.
So if at all possible, and you can go to participate in early vote, which starts October 6th, or do an absent ballot request, that would be really good.
Oh, yeah, because some of my friends, they said that they're going to do an early vote because of COVID, and they didn't, Now, I'm just so glad that you're here, because, it's so confusing. This is the first time this has ever happened since I voted, and people don't know what to do, and that they want to vote.
Yes.
Can you are they sending out ballots to everybody, or are they going to or you have to request a ballot?
So the Secretary of State's office will be sending out absent ballot request forms to every registered voter around Labor Day. But we want to just really enforce, don't wait until the last minute. Don't procrastinate. The office itself is saying, don't wait, get your ballot. So go ahead and get that requested now, or come out to some of the places that WTF is going to be and get your absent voter request form, because we want to make sure our voices are heard.
You mean you can actually go and pick one up?
Yes. Oh, definitely.
Oh, okay. So you're going to be all over the place?
We're going to be everywhere. Yes, everywhere.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Well, good for you.
Well,
good for you. Oh wow. So if you want to send it in, now say I got the ballot and I can't find the envelope that it came in.
I saw that question.
What is it? Is my vote going to count if I put it in one of my envelopes that I have at home?
So I don't have an Ohio Revised Code answer for that. I looked myself, and I actually went to my mentor and asked her, and she said, what we recommend, so we don't have any tomfoolery, is to just keep a hold of that envelope and send it back in what they sent to you.
All right, don't lose that envelope, you guys. Don't lose it now. Maybe it's a good idea once you get it to just go on and send it in. Now, can you drop it off?
So yes, each county has a drop-off location. In Franklin County here, it is at the Board of Elections on Morris Road. So you can drop it off at a secure drop box location.
Oh, okay. So you can drop it off at a secure box. So if I drop it off, do I have to have identification and all that?
No, you just drop it in the box.
Or you can just drop it off on the vote box. Now let's talk about identification when you go to vote. Now when you go to vote, for all of you who are first-time voters, what do you have to have in order to vote? What kind of identification, and what is acceptable and what is not acceptable?
So let's talk about that.
Okay.
Early vote is phenomenal because of COVID and the BMV being closed. If your identification is not up to date, participate in early vote because you don't need to present any ID. You can just tell the last four of your social security or your driver's license number. Now, some of the things that you're able to use is, again, an unexpired Ohio driver's license or state ID, a government issued ID, a state issued ID, military identification, a utility bill with your current address, a bank statement, a government check, your paycheck. As long as your addresses are current, those are things you're able to use. And please do know your rights. You can go to weighthefacts.org and there is a list of the identification that you can use at the polls, because we want to make sure, again, that you know your rights so that when you go in, you can present what you need to present and go ahead and cast a regular ballot. If you don't have any of those things, you can vote provisionally and then provide that information to the board.
Oh, okay. So when you vote provisionally, you have to later on provide the information to the board. How many days do you have to wait? How many days will they hold it for you to provide that information?
Well, the election is not certified until 10 days after the election. So you will, if you vote provisionally, you will receive a communication from the Board of Elections. And I want to say that that's a 10-day piece. So, but again, go in, you have a lot of different alternate IDs that you can use so that you can cast your ballot.
Okay. Now, there's some don't do's that I don't think people know about when you go vote, such as you can't wear your favorite candidate shirt.
You cannot.
You can't. No. Don't do that.
No politicking inside the ballot.
You can't do any politicking. So even if you like the person, you just got to wear something that doesn't say party affiliation or your favorite candidate. Is there anything else that you're not supposed to do so you don't get pulled out of the line and may have to,
Well, we know that no politicking can be done within 100 feet, or is it yards, of the polling location. So if you have a candidate that you're out there working the polls for, definitely keep in mind, and those are always marked. I've served as a precinct election official in 3 different counties, and those are marked off in the morning, so as long as you're outside of there, you're good to go.
Yeah, so as long as you're outside. Okay, all right. So you can't do that. No. That's a no. So don't do that. But you can wear it after you vote.
Right.
You can wear it in the shopping malls or wherever you go. But you can't do it while you vote. And that is so good. Now, if I want to be a precinct person, okay, and I want to vote, and I just registered to vote, can I still be a precinct person?
Yes, you can. Again, they are needing 35,000 people to man those polls, and their typical population for precinct election officials are over 60, which puts them in the COVID danger zone. So they're going to be needing new blood in there.
We'll be targeting some young people to do that. It's quite an experience. I mean, I've done it before, and I kind of got connected to the people because we were doing it every year. So
right.
Like, oh, you're back.
Right. It's like you should do a reunion.
It's almost like a reunion. You just said, oh, shoot, I really, you get to know them because you're spending the whole day there.
Exactly, and asking about family and animals and all that.
Yeah, all those things, when you have a down period. But I don't know if it's going to be a down period this time because this is a presidential election, and it's really important.
It is very important. We're going to just echo what Stacey Abrams said. If there's 100 people at a voting location, we want to get 50 of them out of line so that, again, we can maintain our safety.
So that's what you're going to do. Okay, so if you hadn't voted Okay, some people don't vote every year.
Well, that's a bad thing. Every election affects you. If you don't do politics, politics will do you.
I know that's right, because I had sometimes politics do me. I'm trying to get a fence, a traffic light in my neighborhood. You gotta vote, because see, some of those politicians, they check your record. Did you vote?
Thank you so much for saying
How
that.
can you come in here and ask me
and
to
you
do
don't
something,
participate.
and you're not even voting? You better go back outside and register to vote. I mean, back when I was younger, we had a politician that made sure that you were registered. If you couldn't even talk to him unless he was registered to vote.
That's a really good point that you're bringing up, because if you're not a constituent, they're not concerned with your needs.
Oh yeah. So you want to be on the book.
Yes.
On the books. And then if you have a traffic light or code enforcement or something, you can say, "Hey, look, I'm a registered voter."
Exactly.
You got a little bit of power.
Right.
So that's the beauty about it, So those of you that are not registered, get out there registered. You know what, Lisa? You know what? My son, I found out one time that he hadn't registered. I almost kicked him out of the house.
Yes.
He said, I gave him a lecture about how our folks died, getting us to register and all the struggles that we went through just to vote. And you're not, but he said, "Okay, Mom, I'm going. I don't want to hear your mouth."
Exactly.
But you do want to, it's quite an experience. And I think that's wonderful, to be a poll worker too. Now, do you have to have an affiliation in this election? Do you have to tell them if you're Democrat or Republican, or can you keep it a secret?
So in Ohio, your party declaration is done at the primary. So when you go in for the general, you do not need to make that declaration.
Now, for a poll worker, do you have
to? For a poll worker, yes, they're going to ask you, because the poll workers are balanced equally, D's and R's.
Oh, okay. Can you be an independent and be a poll worker?
Do you know, that is a question I don't know. I would definitely doubt that they would exclude you. But again, with that DR balance, I'm not quite sure how that works.
Oh.
I can get back to you on that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now let's talk about these mail-in ballots.
Okay.
Do I have to have a stamp to put it on?
So what is happening is, let's break that down a little bit.
Okay.
This is a 4-step process. You need to request your absentee ballot.
Okay.
Get back your ballot.
Okay.
Fill it out, and then you need to send it back. Now, it is still up in the air in front of the legislature and the Secretary of State as to whether or not that what you get from the Secretary of State in September is going to come with a self-addressed stamped envelope. That's still up in the air. Definitely. So inquiring minds want to know. Stay tuned to WTF Way the Facts.
Yeah, check with them. But anyway, it doesn't cost that much. I mean, a stamp. Come on now, you can put a stamp on it.
But Yolanda, that is when, again, you need to definitely be active in what's going on, because as African Americans, that's a poll tax, and our people fought against having a poll tax. So we need to make sure that our voices are heard in that piece.
Okay, and your voice is not heard as loudly if you don't register.
Thank you.
They'll turn it up when you say, "Oh, register."
Yes, and registered and active.
An active person coming in, checking on. Yeah, that's good, because just to register, and I'm so glad we're saying that, because it is just as important to know who you're voting for and knowing about the issues than as it is voting, isn't it?
Oh, definitely it is, and thank you for touching on that as well. That's an excellent point. What WTF was founded about was getting the people the good information. We're not leaning left or not leaning right or otherwise. We're getting you the information. You determine what issues are important to you, and then you're able to again cast an educated and empowered ballot. Please don't go in with the slate card and vote, straight down. When I vote, I split the ticket wide open, because I vote for the best candidate.
Yeah, I already know who I'm voting for, because I make telephone calls, and those people that don't answer my call, guess what? When they're on the poll, when they're up on for election, I'll say, I
what you said, Yolanda, because if you are not responsive to the voters, why do you deserve our vote?
Oh, yeah.
I think people don't understand the balance of power. The electeds work for you.
That's right.
So
that's right.
definitely keep that in mind.
Some people got it the other way around.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. That's not how it works.
And you know what? You know what, Lisa? This may sound terrible, but it isn't. I've always keep a list of who I call. You know, particularly because I believe politics has to work from my house to the city hall to the state house to the White House. And if I could look outside and see politics, because like, you know, I look outside and I say, oh, that's the speed sign. When I called city council, they were responsible for helping us get the speed sign. And I look and say, oh, these are the people I called, and these are the people that helped me.
Exactly.
And you know, and then I called a state rep, and the state rep wrote a letter in my behalf. There were some people that never returned the call. I'm still waiting to hear from them, and they never heard. And I'm saying,
I understand exactly what you mean, and in terms of setting up forums, when candidates are not responsive to me, I'm like, you're not responsive in the interview phase of the piece. What are you going to do once you get in office?
If you can't show up, you know, I used to I said, well, don't show. I'll just put your name on a seat. And
where's Waldo?
You know, some of them got mad at me, but if you don't show, you know, I don't go if you don't show.
Exactly.
So that is, it's very important that we have people that represent us and that we can see the politics, you know, in our own community, you know, with street lights, whatever it is, you know, that we can see it actually working. You know, there's so many issues with this COVID and housing, you know, affordable housing, you know, we still got the infant mortality and you know, and pay issues, jobless, you know, jobs and things. There's so many issues that we have that we need to make sure that our candidates, when they're in those positions, that they at least sound like us.
Exactly.
You know, some of them I said, what? That don't sound like me.
Right. That is not my stance on that issue.
Yeah. But, you know, we got some good ones and we got some ones some of them that don't. So we just got to make sure that we put the right people in. And then, you know what? Life is happier.
Yes,
it's so much better when you can call them up and say, hey, and they don't know what our issues are if we don't tell them. You know, some of them, some people say they should, but, you know, they're in a large district, you know. So sometimes when you bring them up, you got politicians that will say, hey, let's do it. You know, we'll work on these issues. So that's a good thing. So we're voting on state rep. What else is on the ballot this time in Franklin County?
So we are the county administrative offices. So the coroner, the engineer, the sheriff, the treasurer, the recorder.
Wow.
Is that what the commissioners. There's 2 commissioner seats that are up. So that is us county administrative wise. Judicially, we're going to be voting on Supreme Court, Ohio Supreme Court, district appeals courts, and then the Franklin County judges. So the domestic, the probate. State reps are up every 2 years, so yes, we'll be voting on that entire slate.
Yes. What issues are on the ballot this year?
So there is issue 21 that we will be covering on our last forum. So again, stay tuned to that so you can get that information, both pros and cons.
Okay. On issue 21.
Yes,
that sounds real good. But so where do I go? I mean, we used to go to the library. Where can I go to register? I have to, is there a place I can go, but do I have to do it online?
So we do now have online Ohio registration. Yay!
All right.
So you
know, there might be something good about COVID.
Okay. So you do have that option, but again, WTF and lots of other organizations are going to be out in the community every Monday from 6 to 8 on the corner of Cleveland and 25th. There is a safety walk, and we are there registering people to vote, and we also have the absent ballot request forms if you're interested in those.
Oh, wow. So you'll have the absent ballot
Yes,
request, and people can register to vote
Yes,
and
ma'am.
everything. That is so good. Now, if you just came in just got your citizenship, can you register?
If you've been in Ohio for an Ohio resident
Still
for 30 days prior, yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Okay, I'm trying to think of everything that our seniors that are in the rehab or the ones that are in assisted living. How is that going to be handled with COVID?
So, what happens in some facilities is that they provide the absent ballot request forms, and their seniors and their residents have always voted absentee. And again, that's a good way to do it now. Is to just really take advantage of that absent ballot request form, and then make sure you don't wait until the last minute, because we all know what's going on with the Postal Service, and we just want to make sure that you get your things in again so that your voice is heard.
So it's crucial. I mean, I guess if you really want your vote to count, don't wait till the last minute.
Right.
It's crucial that we get it in as soon as we can.
Yes, ma'am.
And make sure that our vote counts. I don't know about you out there, but my vote better count. Thank you very much. I'm going to do mine early this year, so I think I already know who I'm voting for, but I got to check out some of the issues. You know, one of the worst things that we can do, and I used to do this, is until I started reading and going in, is to be at the polls, deciding at the polls, waiting and long. You know, you should already know who you're voting for before you go into the polls. So don't wait till you get there and decide, well, I don't know about this person,
so I'm going to just check this person.
Yeah.
No, that's not the time to do that. Do your homework.
You can call WTF.
Yes,
and they
you can.
They give you the 411, y'all.
We will give you the information so you can cast an empowered ballot.
Yes. So you can call. Give us that webpage again.
So it's Weigh the Facts, WEIGHTHEFACTS.org.
WeighTheFacts.org.
Yes, ma'am.
What was it?
It's Weigh the Facts, WEIGHTHEFACTS.org.
.org.
And you can also find us on Facebook.
Find you on Facebook. All right. Well, this is I'm getting signals that it's almost time to go, and I can't believe it. We just got here. But look, don't forget to vote, y'all. And you know, you got to tune in to next week. We got some awesome programs coming up. So you've been listening to Talk All in Our Family, heard on TalkTainmentRadio.com, and I'm Yolanda Robinson. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought they were telling me to go. I got a caller on the line. Caller.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is Leonard Urban calling in to encourage your listeners about why it is they should go out and vote on today.
Oh, yes. Well, why should we tell them, Pastor Urban, why they should go out and vote?
I believe now we should go out and vote because it's very important that we understand our vote has a purpose. Our vote should be intentional. Our vote is going to help our family, our children, and even our future generations. We're helping so many people when we go out to vote, build up a legacy, and our vote is something to become a part of the history. If we plan now, we can begin to plan for the future. We must be able to know that our vote is important. Our vote is going to be counted. Our vote is the best way to voice our opinion. A lot of people are having conversations, but there's nothing wrong with having a conversation, but we also got to put that conversation into action. We want that action to get everyone in their community to go out and make it to their local polls. If you're not available to make it to your local polls, you can even go, if you're right here in the state of Ohio, you can go and request an absentee ballot. and that'll be sent to your address. You can put that back into the mail. Also, too, I want to let the viewer audience know that if you need to update your voter registration, you can do that online. People that are in the state of Ohio, you can go to the Secretary of State.gov website and click on register to vote or update your voter registration information. And you can do everything online. So let's not become stagnant or wait to the last minute to make sure this is done. We have 30 days until you're able to update your information. So you have until October 5th, 2020 to update your information online to make sure that you're eligible to vote on November 3rd in the general election. So in closing remarks, I want to say in the words of John Lewis, the vote is the most powerful, nonviolent tool we have. And so Michelle Obama said yesterday, it is what it is. So we got to make sure.
It is what it is. All right. Well, thank you. Pastor Irvin, what church are you with?
I'm at Mount Gerzium Baptist Church. Pastor Clifford Riley is my pastor.
Oh, I love those. I love that congregation. Tell everybody I said hello. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. And look, now they're telling me it's time to go. So, okay, everybody, I will see you next week. And you've been listening to All in Our Family, heard on TalkTainmentRadio.com. And I'm S. Yolanda Robinson. See you next week. Love you.
And you're still trying to get there. Don't let yourself swaddle. But some of us get to the place we.
Baby, maybe we'll fire the landlord. This next song is dedicated to all the cool cats and...
Attention Central Ohio.
Stand by for an important message.
Someone once said, these times like all times are good times if we just know what to do. Linco Realty says this is the best time to buy or sell a home because interest rates are the lowest in history. Linco Realty has been providing real estate services for over 40 years in Central Ohio. Let us help you fire your landlord. If you have questions on pre-approvals, credit scores, down payments, financing, down payment assistance programs, schools, or other real estate questions, go to lincorealty.com or call us at 614-375-2289. Again, 614-375-2BUY. Fire your landlord. Call us at 614-375-2289. Check out lincorealty.com, then start packing.
The Glory Soul Food Cafe, a taste of Southern classic, located at 3350 Allegheny Avenue in Columbus, Ohio. For carryout, call 614-237-5844 or go to DoorDash.com. Soul Food Specials on Wednesdays. Get the menu at LaGlory'sCafe.com for the best eating in town.
That's LaGlory Soul Food Cafe, 3350 Allegheny Avenue, Columbus, Ohio. For carryout, dial 614-237-5844 or go to DoorDash.com.